Welcome back. Joining us virtually this afternoon, we have financial expert Nick Sapienza. Nick, good afternoon.
Hey, Taylor, good to be back.
It's good to have you. So this week, we're talking about 401ks. So given this climate that we're seeing right now financially, is it a good idea for someone to take a loan out of their 401k?
So this is a great question. It can be somewhat controversial, right? You're able to take a loan this year of up to, say, $50,000 out of your 401k. Last year with COVID, they had higher provisions, which was really helpful to a lot of people. The good thing is that this may be your most favorable terms to take the loan out of your 401k. The interest rate's going to be like 3.25%, 4%, something like that. It's going to be prime plus one. And the interest that you're paying is basically paying yourself back. So the interest is going back to you. But the bad typically outweighs the good. You lose the value of the dollars that you contribute in two ways. First, it's after-tax dollars, no contribution for the money that goes to pay off a loan. Plus, the interest that you're paying back to yourself is probably, over the long term, going to be lower than actual market returns. So I think of it as kind of like attaching an anchor to your future. It's never really a good idea, especially for a long-term loan. And if you leave or get terminated, something happens to your employment, you'll incur taxes, the loan will come due, you'll maybe get hit with a penalty. If you're for a different topic, there's different ways to take money out for things like hefty medical expenses, first-time home purchases, and so forth. But here's what it's for. It's a provision for people that are in dire straits that really have no other options. That's really why it's instituted in the first place. Here's what it's 30 years old, to take a loan out of your 401k to buy the F-250 Platinum, the latest edition, and pay $1,000 a month on your truck note. So said differently, it's a tool to help you stay financially stable or secure, not to look rich, is I guess the best way to put it, which is probably what we see more often than not. So at times people will also, treat this as like a margin loan and pay it back quickly, and the rates can be more favorable than any other options. The people that are typically doing this, or that have these means, or that are more savvy about it, they have other means that they can tap into. Mm-hmm. So it's really just for those people in dire straits. So just because you can do it in a smart way doesn't mean that you should. You really don't want to cross the threshold of turning your 401k into some sort of savings account or loan account.
And then before we run out of time, we have about a minute left. Does the amount matter? So let's say I can do this for just a smaller amount. Does that or is that kind of the same deal?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think it gets deeply personal at that point, right? Like, say you just needed $5,000 to finish paying off your student loans, and the student loan rate was like 6%, and it was this huge psychological burden, and you could tap into the 401k. Like, maybe that's an exception, right? But maybe there's also a provision there for you to actually just withdraw the funds rather than take a loan. So I just think that that's when it's really time to talk to a professional and run those different scenarios.
Well, Nick, you always explain everything thoroughly and give pretty good examples that even I can understand. So thank you so much for joining us virtually today.
I tried. Thank you, Taylor.
If you guys want to rewatch this, we're going to post everything on our website, klaf.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this, but let's check in with Adam.